Welcome to Crime Most French, a fortnightly podcast covering intriguing cases carried out on French soil. Researched and narrated by Cedric and rudely interrupted by me, Melanie. We're the true crime podcast All Alliance. Crack open le vin and let the mayhem commence.
This is episode 99, The Godard Affair.
Not any Loof balloons. 99 Loof balloons. Sorry.
On the 21st of August 1999, Yves Godard, a GP, and his family disappear without a trace.
So we're doing the 99th case in the 99th.
Yes. On the 30th of August 1999, Yves Godard, 44 years old, GP, finishes his day at his surgery in Caen, Brittany, although technically Normandy. Don't go to Brittany and say Caen is in Brittany. It was a long but normal day at the surgery. Nothing special came out. On the 31st, however, he cancelled all his appointments, and he decides to take his kids, Camille 6 and Marius 4, fishing on Lake Planquerie nearby. It's very strange because countryside doctors, as you know, are usually fairly reliable because they know people depend on them and they don't really have a choice of doctor. Usually you have a doctor and that's it. So they tend not to cancel all their appointments at the last minute, like in the morning. Also, 4 and 6 year olds don't go fishing.
Yeah, I think I'm always endlessly amused by when we go and visit our doctor, and we tend to go in together because, you know, twofer, and it gets it over and done. And I think we're both in much better health than he is, because he looks fucking fried.
Oh yeah, but he has like 13, 14 hour days every day.
Yeah.
That's
not every day.
nuts.
I think he has 2 days off, but come on.
Yes, yeah, he has 2 days off, yes.
I mean, British GPs, you struggle to see them. I cannot get any. I'm on. I have hypothyroidism, and I have to go and see my doctor every 3 months. I won't get tablets without seeing him. So you have to see a GP.
Yes.
And they work hard.
Yes, in the countryside, yes.
Yeah.
In cities it's very different, but in countryside, yes. So it is kind of surprising that he cancelled all his appointments on the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't cancel his appointments the following days, so people thought, oh, okay, something's going on. He just wants to be off. He's going to be with the kids and it'll be back the next day.
He wants to take small toddlers sailing.
Yes. So nobody's worried at that point. It's only 1 day off. On the 1st of September, he boards a sailboat, the Nick, N-I-C-K, like the name.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 8.9 meter boat also, so a fairly small boat.
Yeah.
Barely bigger than the one my dad had, with the 2 kids. The boat was booked on the 15th of August, so about 2 weeks earlier. And he tells the owner of the boat that he's planning to do a trip to Perros-Guirec, which is up the coast, and he'll be back on the 5th. His wife, Marie-France, isn't on the boat with them.
That would seem kind of crazy, taking 2 kids.
2 small kids on a 5-day trip on the boat. Yeah,
with just
that's
one
nuts.
adult.
Yes.
That sounds insane.
That sounds insane, yes. Before the trip, he bought some cleaning supplies, like mops and cleaning liquids and stuff in Saint-Malo.
What, the death kit?
But kind of the death kit.
That's murder kit.
It's close. There's no tarp or anything, but it's or an axe, but it's getting there, yeah. And he leaves all that in his car on the harbour. It's like a Volkswagen van thing.
Right.
On the 2nd of September, the Nick is checked by the customs. It's a fairly common thing around Brittany. It's for smuggling and illegal activities on the sea.
Oh my God, no, it's for all those millions of illegal immigrants jumping in boats and trying to get to the UK, because the UK is just the best place in the world ever.
No, it's not for that. It's for smuggling mostly. And it's the customs that do it. It's not like Coast Guards. There's no such thing as Coast Guards in France. So the customs get on the boat and they do a routine check like they normally do. They will have a look around. Mm-hmm. They don't normally find anything, so they don't really expect to find anything. They notice that one of the kids seems to be asleep on the deck. So they're not that surprised about that. It's just small kids, they sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. So they don't find anything weird. What they noticed, though, is that the boat is traveling on engine, and there was enough wind to travel on sail, and that kind of sounds weird to them. So they ask questions to the guy about where he's going, where he's been and stuff, and they check with the owner of the boat because they thought, oh, maybe that boat is stolen. That guy doesn't know how to sail a boat.
Yeah.
He's running on engine, so maybe he stole that boat. So they called the owner and I rented it to that guy and he's going to come back in 5 days, so no problem there. So, okay, well, they leave the boat and let them go.
Yeah, I mean, surely you would... It's much more pleasant to be travelling than the noise of an engine.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, when you have two small kids, it's a lot easier on engine because you sit in one place, you don't move.
True.
Whereas with the sail, you have to constantly
True.
move the boat and the sail. And
It's tiring, yeah.
So I can see why you would travel with the engine when you have two very small kids. It kind of makes sense. But it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because why sailboat if you're not going to use the sails? But
It's still crazy taking toddlers on a boat.
Oh, yeah, totally. You constantly need to keep an eye on them. So the boat spends the next few days at anchor near the coast. It's spotted by a number of people. Yves, the doctor, and his kids are also formally recognized by one of the waffle sailors in one of the harbors because they came on shore and they bought waffles from them. And when the woman is questioned, she says, oh, yeah, I recognize him and his kids. They bought waffles from me. So they know exactly where they go until the 3rd of September at least.
Mm-hmm.
The boat is spotted again the next day by walkers on the coast. Looked abandoned, which was a bit strange. They didn't see anybody on it. The dinghy that's normally attached to the nick that they use for landing is picked up by a trawler on the 5th of September at about 1 day sailing past the last location of the boat.
Uh-oh, that's bad news.
That's the day the nick should have come back to Saint-Malo. The dinghy was drifting about 30 nautical miles from the coast.
Right.
On it, the fishermen find a jacket, a checkbook with Yves' name on it. The fishermen reported to the gendarmerie, who opened an inquiry for disappearance because nobody knows where that boat is now. They found the dinghy, but they don't know where the rest of the boat is. It's just gone.
Yeah.
On the 7th of September, as the boat hasn't come back to Saint-Malo and is now a few days late, the Rosers go to the harbour and check the Volkswagen van that he left on the harbour.
Right.
They find the cleaning supplies in it, but they also find large puddles of blood.
Oh my God.
And they find vials of morphine. He's a doctor, he could have access to morphine, but why would he have morphine in his van? Don't know.
On his
They
day
don't
off, yeah.
They have no idea why that's there. But now they know something's happened because there shouldn't be puddles of blood in your car. That's not normal.
Definitely not.
So the next day they search the house. And there they also find large puddles of blood in the couple's bedroom, in the living room and in the bathroom. They know at that point that something really bad happened in the house because there's a shitload of blood. Whoever lost that blood is dead. So now they transform the inquiry into murder. And they issue international warrants against Yves Godard to Interpol.
Yeah.
Because they want to find him. They don't know where he is. The boat is gone. The blood in the van and in the house is tested, and it belongs to Marie-France, the wife.
Oh, God.
Nobody has seen her since the 31st of August. There's nobody. They're pretty sure she's dead because of the amount of blood they found.
Right.
They have no clue where she is. So they start searching for that boat.
That boat should be called a slice of life.
Yes. That's a reference that lots of people are not going to get.
Okay, that's Dexter's boat.
The original Dexter, yes. From all accounts, neighbors, professional connections, the Godards are good people. They're polite. They didn't really mix much with people. Some people said that they were nearly secretive. It was hard to learn anything about them.
Other than being polite, they sound exactly like us. Although we don't have two kids.
Yes. The locals complained that he wasn't the kind of guy who went to have apéro with them in the bars and stuff. Again, like us.
Yes.
So you know how things are in small villages. If you don't go and have apéro with them, they don't like you.
Yeah.
Even their neighbor, who was feeding their cats when they were away, said that she never got the keys to the house. She was feeding the cats outside. So they
Okay.
didn't want anybody in their house. But that was long before anybody died. That's just the way they are.
Mm.
The kids were polite. They didn't seem to have that many friends, but they were normal kids. Sometimes they went to the neighbors, borrowed VHS tapes from the neighbors and games and stuff.
Right.
One of the neighbors played with them, pétanque and stuff. So they were kids. They were just fairly...
Run of the mill, nothing
Yeah, there
special.
was nothing special about them.
They weren't Damien.
Yves is a doctor. As a doctor, was always available on short notice. For example, when there was an emergency, you would call him and he would turn up. When kids come on holidays in buses and one of them would be sick, he would be there to have a look at the kid. So he was an available doctor.
But something seriously has happened inside his head.
If he killed people, yes. People say that they've never heard any disagreement or shouting in the couple.
Mm.
So they seem to get along fine. Nobody saw anything bad happen to them or between them. Not the warmest of people, but that doesn't make any of them a murderer.
No.
On the 16th of September, 11 days after the dinghy was found, a tourist boat found a life jacket from the Nick near Guernsey.
Right.
On the 23rd of September, the inflatable boat linked to the Nick, so the emergency boat,
Right,
which is
yeah.
inflatable,
Mm-hmm.
is found on the beach in Dorset.
Oh, wow, okay.
And weirdly, the corrugated iron of the boat, so it kind of inflated, but it had a corrugated iron roof, was cut off and was missing.
Oh, weird.
Nobody can explain that. The cops at that point still think that Yves killed his wife and escaped on the Nick. But they're confused by the life jacket and the inflatable boat because, according to the Oceanic Institute, it's strictly impossible that they travelled from where they were last seen in Brittany to Dorset. It is not possible. The currents don't go that way.
No, they go the other way.
They can't have drifted to Dorset.
Mm.
So they can't explain why suddenly those things appeared in the UK.
So
it is just weird. But they don't know where the boat is.
So is it likely that the boat went in that direction?
But it looks like the boat went there and somehow these things were abandoned over there on location. But why?
Why get rid of them if you wouldn't want to?
Yes. Also, the motor that inflates the boat was ripped off. Oh. And according to the manufacturer, without that motor to keep the boat inflated,
and the boat isn't good.
It can't stay inflated more than 48 to 72 hours.
Right.
After that, it's flat. So it's found not flat in Dorset. Okay, so that means that it was last inflated
within 72
within
hours.
The last couple of days.
Yeah.
And that's even weirder because it means it can't have drifted. Somebody was on that boat to reinflate it.
Yeah.
None of that makes any sense. Nothing much happens for a good while. The gendarmes have no lead, no idea where the family and the boats are. Then on the 16th of January 2000, a few months later, 4 months later, a trawler brings up a bag from an area close to an island in Brittany. It contains lots of possessions from all the members of the family. It contains clothes, it contains the driving licenses from the couple, it contains registration documents from their 2 cars, it contains checkbooks, it contains Marie-France's complete handbag with everything in it, binoculars and a hammer.
Oh my God, what a weird collection of stuff.
And that was at the bottom of the sea. That was collected by a trawler.
Right.
Nobody knows what that is.
So I wonder if the hammer was just purely there just for weight.
I have seen no information about whether the hammer had blood or anything like that. I really don't know. Then on the 6th of June, we're talking 6 months later.
We're now kind of getting close to a year.
Yeah. Another trawler that was dragging the seafloor for mollusks or something.
Right.
And shells or whatever. Brings up a fragment of human skull.
Oh, God.
The fishermen look at it and say, we don't want to have anything to do with that. Let's throw it back.
What?
4 hours later, they bring up another skull fragment.
Oh, no.
And that time they decide, okay, that's too many skull fragments.
One
we
was,
need to call the
one
Roses.
was bad, but 2 was crossing that line.
Yeah, that was just a step too far at that
Right.
point. So then they contact the cops. And the Oceanic Institute, called l'Ifremer in France. The analysis shows that the skull have been on the seabed at least since February 2000.
Right.
And also DNA tests show that the one that they kept,
Right.
belongs to Camille, the daughter.
Oh, right. A little skull. Oh,
So
God.
the daughter's dead. The cops now think that the boat must have sunk somehow, possibly by accident, maybe not. They don't know because they haven't found the boat.
That
And it's
doesn't
somewhere on the
explain what
seafloor.
all the blood in the house is, though.
No, that doesn't explain any of that. It also doesn't explain the inflatable boat. It doesn't
No.
explain the life jacket in
No.
the UK.
No.
At that point, they don't worry about that. They're trying to find out where the boat could possibly be.
Yeah.
So they call the Navy, and the Navy sends a minesweeper to
Right.
try to find that boat on the
Mhm.
seafloor. And they search and they search and they search, and they can't find it.
So it's just some freakish coincidence, freak that they found the skulls there.
They just can't explain. They don't know. They know they found the skull of the girl, that's for sure, because it's been DNA tested. But they don't know how it got there. They don't know if she fell overboard. They don't know if she was killed and dumped. They don't know if the boat sank. And if it did sink, was it an accident? They have no idea because they can't find the boat.
And they didn't find the other first skull.
No, they didn't find that again because this is a tiny fragment. And it's not.
Okay.
So now it's not going to find you something the size of
No, that's true.
a fragment of a skull.
Yeah.
So no, they never found another one. The affair takes a new turn on the 11th of February 2001. So we're now jumping 6 months again. When Yves' professional card is found on a beach near an archipelago off the Brittany coast.
Okay.
On the 22nd of February, so 10 days or so later, is a credit card with his name on it that is found on that one beach. Then on the 24th of May, so we're jumping again a few months later, workers find another credit card with his name on it on that one beach. So at that point, the instructing judge orders some searches on that beach because something's going on that beach.
Definitely.
They can't find anything.
Weird.
But on the 3rd of June, another credit card is found on the one beach. So the cops at that point think that Yves must have landed on the beach somehow and dumped his wallet. They can't understand why they couldn't find anything when somebody else found something after them on the beach. That is kind of weird. But that's what the thing happened. So the judge orders new searches. So at that point, they get a tractor to drag the beach, essentially, with a very fine net to try to find anything.
Oh, God, can you imagine that crap they found?
Yeah, and in the meantime, they call another minesweeper to go around the island to try
Right.
to find the boat, because maybe the boat is around the island. And nobody finds anything. Nothing on the beach, no boat on the sea. However, on the 31st of July, so nearly 2 months later, a fifth credit card is found on the beach. That has been searched several times now.
How many credit? I mean, I'm surprised.
Well, you can
he's
have
got that-
lots of credit cards. You have one. No, you have two. I have two. It's possible. Well, you can have as many as you want, really. It's just how many cards do you want? I don't see the point of having more than one or two, but obviously he had 5 at least. So somebody finds another credit card on that beach. The lab tests on the cards conclude that they haven't spent much time in the sea. So it's not like they were dumped in the sea and then drifted to the beach.
So they haven't been floating around for 2 years in the sea.
They certainly haven't been in the sea since September 1999. No, that is not possible.
Because
Which makes no sense.
That's the guts of 2 years.
Yes. Yeah, at that point we're very close to 2 years. And that makes no sense to the cops. How could these things land on that beach, given that they weren't there when they searched? So it's not like they were there somewhere at the time.
Suddenly
They
found
appeared
it.
after they searched. The only way they could have done that is by drifting, but then they haven't been in the sea for long. So they haven't been drifting. So they don't understand what's happening at that point. They suspect that maybe there's an accomplice that's dumping those over time slowly.
Right.
They have no clue why. What would that do?
No.
Is it somebody who tries to make it sound like an accident? by dumping those, pretending they've been drifting, but that wouldn't know that they would test for that and realize that they haven't been drifting.
And also over
it makes no sense. They don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, but over that period of time, I mean, I could imagine them doing it. 6 months later, his wallet turned up. But to do it 2 years later, or 1.5 years later, and then just
every 6 months
credit
also.
cards and dribs and drabs.
Yeah, they seem to find a new card every 6 months.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Yeah, that is just weird. They just don't understand what's going on.
And in the bag with all the documents in it.
Yes, at the bottom of the sea. Yes.
Just weird.
Yes. At that point, the cops have absolutely no clue what's going on. And none of it makes any sense.
No.
Finally, on the 13th of September 2006, so now we jump several years ahead, a femur and a tibia are discovered on the seabed on a very deep trench near Casquettes Island, which are part of the Guernsey, Jersey archipelago.
Okay.
I think they might be French. But anyway, they are in that area.
Yeah.
They are tested and they are shown to belong to Yves, the doctor.
Right. So he's definitely dead.
At that point, he's assumed to be dead because they found most of him in one leg.
Unless he cut one of his legs off.
Yeah, for fun. For what? That doesn't make sense, but then nothing makes sense in the case anyway. So at that point, the inquiry against him for murder is dropped because he's now dead.
Yeah.
So, as I said in the previous episode, you don't prosecute dead people in France. But also, if he's dead, most likely he's not the one doing the murdering. Someone else has been doing some murdering. The inquiry starts again on the 14th of December 2008.
Wow.
Guess why? A mutual card is found on the beach.
Same beach?
On the same beach in perfect condition.
No.
Which again means that it hasn't been drifting since 1999.
Oh, somebody's given the cops the middle finger.
They just don't understand what's going on.
Oh, somebody knows something.
So they reopened the inquiry at that point because there is still something going on. They just have no clue what.
So somebody killed this guy's wife.
But they search for her body in the meantime.
Yeah.
And they suspect that she's dead, obviously, given the amount of blood that they found in the van and in the house.
Yeah.
But as her body was never found, they searched the area around the house. They searched like woods and stuff and stuff around the house. They can't find anything.
I mean, not unless she's gone girled.
Maybe. But then without her blood. So...
No. Remember in Gone Girl, she...
Yes, she did it over time.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. That's a possibility, I guess. Yes.
But, they
just don't know.
No.
The searches are stopped in January 2000. Because at that point, they've been searching for several months and they just can't find anything. So they say, okay, we'll never find her.
Yeah.
They start again on the 27th of January 2007, 7 years later.
Right.
When the cops receive an anonymous letter telling them to search a storage building near a cemetery in Longèvre. It's a town nearby. So they go there.
Right.
And they find human bones in the storage building. They're tested, and they're not hers. They're somebody else's bones.
What the fuck?
So they still don't have the body. They found a body.
Oh my God.
But not hers.
This is crazy.
Yes. Over the years, there's more breadcrumbs. For example... On the 14th of October 1999, so we are talking just not long after they disappeared, a hotel owner on the Isle of Man reports that the doctor and his kids have stayed with them from the 7th to the 14th of September because they see it on the news.
That's quite far away.
The Isle of Man is a long way from Brittany, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's not the easiest to get there in a small 9-meter boat.
Yeah. I would not. Oh, Jesus, that tiny boat. I mean, it's such a busy shipping area.
Yeah, I read interviews with people and they were saying, no, that's completely nuts to do that trip on a small boat like that.
Oh, totally.
At least a 12-meter boat.
Yeah.
Below that, it's crazy to do it.
Because you get those ginormous tankers, those super tankers.
Yeah, and the seas are rough in the North Sea.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, it's a difficult trip to do. It's possible if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, but you're dodging in and out of all those ferries.
Yeah.
Oh, no, what a nightmare.
Yeah. So they're kind of surprised, but
Yeah.
there's a group of cops from France that goes to the Isle of Man and looks around, try to find any other trace of them apart from the hotel owner that says that they were there. They say that they make people sign a register, but they never check passports. So there's no proof it's them. They haven't seen the passports.
Yeah.
They say traditionally they never do it, and it's the Isle of Man, so they do things strangely anyway. So apart from going there and having a look around, they check the beaches. They try to see if a boat has been sinking, if the boat has been abandoned in one of the harbors or anything. They can't find anything.
I would have thought if there was anything untowards in the Isle of Man. I mean, they're very, very big on their old boat races and stuff. They would have found something.
You would think so. The hotel owner has a very good story and lots of details about them. He was saying that they arrived dirty and very tired, that one of the kids was asleep in the father's arms and the other one was half asleep standing up. And so he has lots of details, and everything seems to actually describe those people. Just nobody understands what they're doing there and how they got there. So at some point they were saying that the most likely and the easiest would have been to sail to Liverpool and then take a ferry to the Isle of Man from Liverpool. That would have been apparently easier than trying to get straight to the Isle of Man. But why? Why would you do that?
Oh, it's just crazy.
So the boat might be in Liverpool or somewhere on the UK coast somewhere. They don't know. They have no idea where that boat is. They still haven't found it at that point. They are also reported on the Isle of Lewis. They also reported in South Africa, in Miami, and in Crete.
That tiny boat has moved around a lot.
That tiny boat has some mileage.
There is no way that boat has made it
to Miami.
No.
Doable. Some people have done it on rowboats, but kind of nuts.
Yeah, but how much sailing experience has that dude got?
What's reported in Miami and in those places is not the boat, it's them, it's the people.
Oh, right, okay.
So they could have flown there. Who knows? The cops also search areas around Madeira because they discovered that Yves had opened a bank account in Madeira. They don't know why. But they checked all access to the bank account and nobody has ever accessed it. Right. So at some point they thought, he's trying to disappear to Madeira, open the bank account and he's going to use it. No, nobody has ever accessed it.
I wonder if he murdered his wife and was going to go leave with the kids and something went disastrously wrong.
Don't know. In 2011, there's a book published by Éric Lemasson. His hypothesis is that the whole family was murdered by a group linked to an artisan association to which Yves belonged as a doctor, and he was very active in that association. He thinks that that association has links to the mafia, which has been half confirmed by the police, but not quite. They didn't really say, but at the same time they didn't deny it, and they said that they looked into that association, which is kind of weird. Because the guy didn't invent that story. The reason why he goes with that story is that the cops have reported investigating that association in link to the murder.
Okay.
Also, the association had been investigated before by cops elsewhere in France because the president of the association, called Christian Pousset, had been found murdered as well. And that was all corroborated by a bodyguard who was exiled in Brazil and refused to go back to France, who had been interviewed twice by the cops when they investigated the Christian Pousset's murder. And he said, yep, that's the association. They paid a group of the mafia to kill those people, and it's all about money. The story would be that the association had somehow funneled money away, and that Yves either was involved and tried to recover some of that money, and that could be why he had an account in Madeira or why he went around Guernsey to pocket it, or that he was investigating because he had discovered missing money and he wanted to know what was going on, and in either case he was found out, and the mafia group would have killed the family. They don't know. But that's what the guy says in this book, and that's what he goes with. That doesn't explain going to the Isle of Man.
No.
It doesn't explain why he went on a boat without his wife, with his kids, that he had booked 2 weeks earlier. So it's not like a last-minute thing.
No.
There's a lot of loose ends in that story that don't really make sense. On the 14th of September 2012, the instructing judge declares a non-lieu, so that means that they have investigated and they can't find anything, and therefore there's nothing else they can do, so they just close the case.
So it's got a status of no fucking clue.
Yes, that's essentially what non-lieu is. So they can't prosecute anyone, they really have absolutely nothing, so they just drop the case. In the document that the judge published, he says that the only thing that they know for sure is that the death is not accidental. But they don't have any evidence on who did it, why, how, where. They just don't know. They can't prove anything. They can't even prove that he's involved in the murder or not. Was he escaping with his kids after his wife was killed? Did he kill his wife himself and then was trying to escape somewhere with the kids? They have no idea. They can't prove it either way. On the 7th of December 2015, Yves and his wife are declared legally dead for inheritance purposes.
But there's no kids.
Yes, but again, in that case, it goes to your parents, and if you don't have parents, it goes to your brothers and sisters and nephews and all that. So that's all we have. We have found bones. We are pretty sure that Yves and his kids are dead. At least one of them for certain is dead because they found the skull or part of it. With the blood that they found, the wife is certainly dead as well, but nobody. There's no motive, no suspect, no proof, absolutely nothing. And unless it was a murder-suicide thing, he killed his wife and then decided to kill himself and his kids at sea, which seems very complicated for no good reason whatsoever. He could have done that in a house. Yeah,
but that doesn't explain the credit cards.
Doesn't explain the credit cards appearing every 6 months. There's just none of that story makes any sense, and there's just nothing. The file that the police has is 30 volumes, so there's a lot of stuff, but it goes nowhere. And that's it.
My God. That tale is more fishy than the bottom of a trawler net.